Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop, Understanding and Dealing with My Child as Parent. The workshop is organized by Sherwood Convent School. Thank you for joining us for today. My name is Rashmi Singh, and I am Activity Coordinator for Sherwood Convent School. A very warm welcome to all, and I feel privileged to extend a very warm welcome to all present here on this beautiful Saturday evening. Parenting is one of the most researched area in the field of social science. No matter what your parenting style or what your parenting question or concern may be, raising a happy, healthy child is one of the most challenging jobs a parent can have, and also one of the most rewarding. Yet, many of us don't approach parenting with the same focus. Sherwood Convent extend a helping hand in teaching positive parenting techniques, which works well for raising children with discipline and good moral values, and are every parent's dream. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Ms. Kirti, our school counselor. She has expertise on the concerned subject matter, understanding and dealing with child as a parent. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rashmi ma'am, for the warm welcome. And here I extend a welcome to all the beautiful parents who have logged in today on this Saturday evening and who are here to listen to me, understand and deal with their children as a parent. I hope you learn a lot from this workshop today. I am Kirti Garg, the school counselor here at Sherwood Convent. So to begin with, as kids grow from grade schoolers to preteens, we expect a lot of changes that are happening in our children. Changes can be in the form of physical appearances. It can be, a lot of children of your age group would be beginning to start forming friendships. Now, these friendships are not the friendship that they used to have earlier while they were toddlers. It's not a give and take friendship, but it's more like a friendship where emotions are invested. It's more like a friendship where they really want their friends with them. This is also the age group where the children start to involve a lot into activities. They like sports, they like painting, and they try to indulge in more and more activities. Now, as a doctor, as a person who is expertise in physical development of a child, doctors usually recommend that there are certain milestones that the child will be developing during these times. This will include gaining some skills now, some skills that were gained earlier, and some skills that will be gained later. Also, there are a lot of physical changes, especially in this age group, which is of utmost importance, and that is the child hitting the stage of puberty. It is the time where a lot of physical changes will be happening in your children, both girls and boys, and especially it might be difficult for the girls. So this is another big challenge that children face, and this is the time that we need to start preparing them to deal with all of this. Now, here is some information on how children develop during middle childhood. Like I mentioned about some physical changes that might be taking place, there are also a lot of emotional and social changes that will be taking place. As a counselor, I think this is the right space for me to share with you that this is the stage where children start forming friendships more stronger. They are going to be indulging into more complex friendships. There is going to be a little bit more peer pressure that they would be feeling. They would be investing their emotions into their friends. They will be having a friends group, and all of these will be leading to emotional and social changes in them. Now, also in terms of thinking and learning, a lot of changes are happening when we talk about the cognition, about how the mind functions. So this is a stage where the child starts to face more academic challenges. The syllabus, the kind of studies that the child is involved into, it starts to become a little advanced. It starts to become a little higher. The child becomes a little independent. They start to have their own point of view. If you start talking to your children, you will see most of them have their point of view. They know according to them what is right, what is wrong, how they want to approach a situation, and how they do not want to. They also start to gain a little higher attention span. So a lot of changes are happening in this stage, including physical, emotional, social, in terms of thinking, learning, academics. Now, what can your 6 to 12-year-old child do at this age? What are some things that they will be able to do? So here I've jotted them down. They will be able to enjoy activities and they would want to stay busy, especially now that, a lot of students are studying from home and they're not able to go outside. They would want to stay busy. Nobody likes getting bored, and especially children in this age group. They would want to indulge in more paint, more drawings. They start to involve in a lot of practical activities. It's no more just theory. They want to try things. They want to experiment with more things. They start to read more. They start to, use different kinds of materials. This is also the age group, like I said, the self-esteem of the child is developed. They want to look good. They want to be appreciated. They start to dress well. They start to look well. They can, all these small tasks like naming months, days of the week, collecting objects, all of this are well done by children of this particular age group. This is also the age group where they start to write stories. The mind is developing in such a form that they enjoy listening to stories, they enjoy telling stories, reading about them, writing about them. And obviously, as parents, you might already be aware of this, that how much our children love using the mobiles, using the devices, and spending time on screen. We will definitely be talking about this in detail a little ahead. So like I said, this is all that a child of this particular age group can do. Now, talking about wellness and fitness milestones, what is it that your child should be able to achieve during this particular age group? How do we identify a child who is fit, who is well? So children in this age group needs to be indulged in a lot of physical activity, even whether they're staying at home, whether they're going outside to play, whether they're interacting with friends or not. Try to indulge your kid into a lot of physical activity. Now, why that is important is this helps build strength, this helps build coordination. And most importantly, this also lays the foundation for confidence. Only if child knows how to do certain things will they develop this confidence. This is one of the most vulnerable stages where the body needs more and more movement. These physical activities have a direct impact on the self-esteem, on the confidence of the child. This is also the age where the child wants to start controlling things. They want control over everything they do. They want to stay active. So as parents, try to give them the autonomy wherever you can. Ask them questions. What is it that they want to do? Why is it that they want to do this? Give them control as much as you can. And also something, even in the registration forms, we had this thing coming up, that this is a stage where children want to prevent obesity. This is a stage where a lot of medical difficulties come up, a lot of self-esteem issues come up. So what can be done there? This is also the stage when we talk about wellness and fitness in terms of milestones, that the physical functioning of the body needs to be very much in control of the child. Now, what is normal when we talk about the physical growth? We understood some milestones, but what is normal? If I talk about some numbers that are given in research, kids tend to get taller at a steady pace, growing about 2 to 2.5 inches per year. Also, in terms of weight, it is usually 2 to 3 kgs per year until the puberty hits them. Now, also, this is a time where not just physical development, but a lot of emotional development is taking place. This is the time when the kid starts to feel emotions. They start to feel things. They might get hurt easily. There might be a lot of tantrums. Something that we call tantrums. They might get irritated fast. They might get angry fast. There is a lot of comparison that happens either from the parents, and or even if the parents are not forcing, the children themselves start to compare each other, with themselves. So a lot of feelings are involved. A lot of self-esteem is developing during this age. And that is why this age is super crucial for the children. Talking about the brain development, how is it that my child's brain is developing? So when we talk about the brain development, a lot of biological terms I did not want to use here because that might get really monotonous for all of you. But here I have jotted down some factors that we need to keep in mind in order to have a healthy brain development of my children. Now that involves proper nutrition. The more the healthy the child eats, the better the brain is developing, the overall body is developing. Like I emphasized earlier, exercise, physical movement, all of this is very, very important. Proper sleep and rest, something that we completely forget. We believe that this is the age that the child needs to do more and more, more and more. And in that race of running and getting involved into a lot of things, we forget to take care, we forget to take rest, we forget to take sufficient sleep, which is very, very important. And last but not the least, as parents, you are the role models for your children. And the nurturing and the responsive care that you provide to the child forms the bond, not just between you and the child. The kind of care you are providing is not just forming the attachment between you and the child, but also helping the child develop as a whole. How will the child form relationships in the future is also emphasized on how you form your relationship with the child. A child who's usually neglected, who we are not able to pay much attention to, that child becomes very hesitant in the future when he or she has to form relationships with another person, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner, whether it's a family member. So nurturing and responsive care to the child is very important for both the body and the mind. Moving ahead, now I have shared that what all is important, but how can you actually help your child to grow? For a normal growth, just a second. Yes. So for a normal growth, it's very, very important that the children are supported with good nutrition. There is enough sleep, and there's also regular exercises that is happening. Something which is also very important is acceptance, something that we don't talk about much, Physical growth can be achieved using these things, using nutrition, sleep, exercise. But do we really accept a child for who they are? Do we give them that non-judgmental space? Do we help them build confidence? Only if you show that love, that warmth to the child, that you accept him or her the way they are, that helps them also build a lot of self-acceptance. So acceptance about your child is very, very important. It's also very important that, like I said earlier, obesity and a lot of issues related to health is a major concern in this age group. So preventing them is what, as a parent, you need to do. You need to push your child to eat extra food, food which is high in minerals, vitamins, and other nutrients, and this will help the child to prevent weight loss. Now, how active should a child be? Even in the form, we received a lot of questions around this. So I thought, why not dedicate a whole slide to this? How active should my child be? School children should have many chances to do a variety of activities. This is something that we here at the Sherwood also keep in mind. We are not just restricted to academics. We try to indulge the child into a lot of extracurriculars. Whether it's sports, whether it's games, whether it's personality development, whether it's ability, whether it's knowing it interest. All of these areas, both physical, extracurricular, are very, very important when it comes to the activeness of the child. It's important that the child during this age learns the importance of sportsmanship, of setting goals, of meeting challenges, of teamwork, the values behind all of this, and that will lead to a very holistic development of your child. Now, here are some physical activity guidelines for your children. It's important that when we talk about physical activities, we are indulging a lot of muscles, we are indulging a lot of movement that helps the body to move, that helps the body to open up. This can be done using various activities, various aerobic activities like running, swimming, dancing. It is also very important that the amount of activities, the amount of exercises that a child is doing is moderate. It shouldn't be too much, it shouldn't be too less. Because, like we say, too much excess of anything is bad, whether it's even exercises. So, this is the age where muscle strengthening and bone strengthening are also taking place. So, try to indulge in activities that involve the same at least 3 days a week. Children should also do a lot of jumping. They should also do a lot of running thing. If I ask you all right now, I'm sure me, or even you as a parent would not be able to do so much physical activity as that of a child, right? Because the child is in that particular age group where the body is built in such a way that it's meant to be active. So as parents, let's try to do that. Let's try to encourage our child to become more and more active, to indulge in a lot of activities, and that will help in the development of the child. Now, these are also the years where the child needs to learn a lot of life skills, something a lot of us forget. I have emphasized enough on the physical activities, but learning life skills is also very important. Like I said, self esteem is formed during this age group. So it's important that the child learns different life skills like personality development. They learn about decision making, about problem solving, about active listening, life skills like being confident. All of these are very important for children in this age group. It is also important that your child learns healthy habits by watching you. Yes, let's not forget that you are the role models for your children. So what you do is directly observed by the child, is directly consumed by the child, and will be followed by the child. Be a role model by incorporating physical activities into your family time. Try spending more time with your children. Try engaging in activities that they are involved into. It's also very important that during this age we educate our children about sensitive topics, about topics which are very, very important. This is the right age to teach them about good touch, bad touch, teach them about different genders, teach them about things that they would need in life. Let's not avoid these topics. Educating them is very, very important. It's also very important that as a parent, you look out for signs of bullying. Some children, you will be able to notice a lot of behavioral and emotional changes that will be happening in the child if in case the child is going through some situations like this. Also, I, as a school counselor, I'm always available for all of you. If you wish to discuss any issues that your child is facing, you can always let me know, and do look out for signs of bullying. Now, how to take care of my child around the house, how to deal with certain things that happen around the house. So it's important that you are the parents, you are the friends for the child. So make sure that as a parent, you're also spending a lot of time with your child, and there are a lot of family fun nights or a lot of spending time together that is taking place at your home. This could be in the form of playing board games together, doing physical activities if it's possible, going and visiting, having short trips, going to different places, doing different activities together. Something as normal as cooking, as normal as cleaning in the home. All of this can be done together with your child. You can involve your child into all of this. It is also very important that a lot of boundaries are set at home. A lot of discipline is set at home, because the child learns what happens at home and applies it to the outside world. So remember that you have some boundaries clear, you have some discipline that is being followed, and both you and the child need to do it together. Let's not just put it on the child, but be good role models to our children. It's also very important that we give them independence. Like I said earlier, this is the age group where the child wants control. They want to know things. They want to make decisions. They want to be at authority. They want to be independent. So we can, very cleverly, we can provide them this, and we can also get our work done. This will help them build autonomy. This will help them build self-esteem. So whenever, for example, if you have some situations coming up at home, in your conversations, have your child there too. Ask him or her, what is your opinion about this thing? How do you think we should go ahead with the situation? This will help you know the point of view of the child also, and this will also help the child to know different, to become more autonomous. For example, I've given an option: do you want to clean your room before dinner or after? See, you're getting the work done, you're getting the cleaning done, but you're giving the child a choice: do you want to do it before or do you want to do it after? The child is getting a choice and you're getting the work done. Here are some positive parenting tips with which I would like to end today's PPT. So I have tried to cover all of this earlier. Let me just quickly summarize this for all of you. Spend time with your child as much as possible. Be involved in in your child's schoolwork and also other extracurricular work that the child is involved into. Make clear rules and stick to them, both you and the child. Encourage your child to join school and community groups. Let them not be stuck to academics only, but to different extracurricular activities. Help your child develop his own sense of right and wrong. And how we can do that is by questioning the child more and more, by understanding their point of view. Help your child to develop a sense of responsibility. This is the right age to form strong self-confidence and self-esteem in your child. Help the child meet the families. You as a parent, meet the child of different, meet the families of different children. That way you will know how you are working as a parent, and you will also know that you are not alone in all of this. Help your child set his own goals. Talk with your child about normal physical and emotional changes that take place in puberty. I hope all of you found this useful, and we will be, going ahead with some questions that you came up with. And thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It is it's a learning, and I hope our parents get benefited out of it. Raising kids is one of the toughest and most fulfilling job in this world, and the one for which you might feel least prepared. So we have our experienced teacher, Miss Nidhi and Ms. Navpreet, and our school counselor again, Ms. Katie, to answer some of your very, very important, relevant queries and questions that every parents have as a concern. Before we begin the interactive round, dear parents, Sherwood Convent is inviting admissions for the nursery program in this new academic session, and we invite your and your friends and your relatives query to take your child's admission further. So before we get started with the interactive round of these questions, I never call it a question and answer round. I call it more of an interaction, because you will benefit as we take you through a journey of how a child and how a parent deal in this situation with each other. So my first question from one of my very concerned parents is for the teacher. And Nidhi ma'am, I'd like to ask you that with the increased on-screen time, there are numerous emotional, social attention problems, as well as physical issues like obesity, stress, eyes, headache, etc. How can a parent deal with such problems?
Good evening, everyone. This is a very interesting question, and this is a major challenge for parents, that is increase on screen time. Yes, with the education going online and children having the leisure time activities as well as interaction going online. So yes, on screen time has definitely increased. Basically, I would like to address this issue by saying that we need to, decide on how the children use the devices. We need to chalk out a daily routine plan as to what the children, how they are continuously, whether they are continuously on the screen. Okay, we need to involve, get the children, encourage the children to have gaps in between, and get involved in some recreation alternative activities, maybe a simple board game, or a puzzle, or just reading a book, or any kind of activity. We can also tell the children to just do some relaxing, eye exercises or just body stretches. Also, we can work on how the children's seating setup is, like, they should have proper lighting, and their sitting posture should be correct. So these minor things could, alleviate their physical issues like body aches or headaches or stress ties to a major extent. Secondly, we need to limit their screen time. I would suggest, moderation screen time. Now this also would depend on their age, and secondly, what is the quality of screen time they're using. Now if my child is, watching some educational show on the screen, then maybe I would not stop him. Or if time demands, if there are exam times, yes, of course, screen time does increase. So we do not need to get too hassled up during those days. So it all depends on the situation and time. And so we should not consider screen time to be a bad boogeyman, with having all negativities, or just think, okay, my child is on the screen all the time. So it has its negativities and positivities, and we need to make a balance of both of them to get the best results for our children.
Thank you. It was very insightful answer. I will also add on that we need to give a lot of time to our children. We need to monitor them. Monitoring them at this age, because this is the time where there are a lot of flashy stuff around. So they get carried away. So the parents have to literally monitor. I can understand the parents who are working or who are not able to spend too much of time with their children. But if they have some elders back home who can monitor what they are doing at what time, that will also help. All right, with this, we move on to Kirti ma'am. And Kirti ma'am, this is again a very, very challenging question, where it said that there are numerous changes and challenges externally as well internally on an onset of puberty, like mood swings, eating disorder, etc. How can our parents be a comforting factor for the children?
Thank you, Rashmi ma'am. I think this is something very relevant, and I'm so glad that we are taking this up. Definitely, puberty is a time where both internal and external changes take place, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional. A lot of changes are taking place in the child, and it's definitely a difficult time for the child. Now, as parents, it's very important that you realize you are the primary caregiver for the children. You are the person that the child is in contact with, and it is you who has to be the comforting source for the child. How you can do that is spend more time with the child. Ask the child what kind of problems they are facing. Is there something that they want to talk about? Only if you ask them will they open up. It's also very important that you educate your child about the changes, because we know this, right? The more we know about things, the less anxious we get. So educate your child about more and more. Educate them about what is it that they can expect. What are some changes? Why are they happening? Answer their questions. This will help them comfort. This will decrease their anxiety. Also, it is very important that as parents, you do not set unrealistic demands and expectations for your child. Embrace their journey, embrace their growth. Your child is unique. The kind of changes that they will face, the time when they will hit puberty, all of that will be unique. So embrace that and do not make it hard for the child. I hope that helps, ma'am.
That really helps, ma'am. And I like that line, that embrace your child. That's very, very important. At any age, at my age also, if I go to my mother, embracing and a hug means a lot to me, right? That gives a child more comfort. That gives a child a feeling of being very close to you. So this is very, very important. I move on to Navpreet ma'am. And Navpreet ma'am, again, this is related to the child's prohibited. The child should be prohibited to ask questions not appropriate to her age, or should he be encouraged? That's a question from one of the parents.
Okay, Rashmi ma'am. Good evening, everybody. Greetings of the day. I feel this question seems so relevant as per today's scenario. And personally speaking, there is no need to prohibit the child from asking any kind of questions. Because if we are going to do that, or if we don't, answer any particular query, it is going to make them more curious, and it might build up their anxiety level. In fact, I feel communication is the key, and it is up to us as to how we address that query tactfully. So depending on the age, the maturity level, the understanding of the child, we can modify our words, our language, and use more age appropriate terms while addressing their query. How much of the information we have to divulge at a particular moment, I feel that is also very important. That is our discretion, so that the child also feels satisfied, and we as parents too. But Rashmi ma'am, I feel blatantly saying no, or telling the child that don't talk to me on that topic, or let's not discuss that, I don't think so that will help. So communication or having a light-hearted talk, that is the resolution.
Yeah, yes, exactly like we have with our friends. It's best
Yes.
to be a friend of your child at this age. Yes, you can give that comfort of communicating, because yes, you can understand, and yes, we have to go to that level. We cannot have that he can have the same IQ as ours. His
Of
IQ and
course.
our IQ, there is a difference. So coming to his level, understanding his problem and communicating your problem your way, we need to bridge it together. I hope I've concluded it correctly for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Navpreet ma'am. And we come back again to Nidhi ma'am. This question was there for our, we had a workshop last week on parenting in pandemic. The same kind of question again is asked by a parent, where they say that there is an increased feeling of competitiveness and peer pressure during current time. How can we encourage children to maintain and appreciate their own identity and look at opportunity positively rather than getting stressed?
Okay, yeah. So competition per se, I wouldn't say is good or bad. I mean, it is the way, it is the approach to competition that makes it unhealthy. If the goal is to win or lose, then it becomes very stressful for the children. So, so if we teach our children, if we as parents look at competition, or even teach our children, that it is important to, look at what we are learning from the competition, rather than just looking at the aspect of winning or losing, then it won't become stressful. So looking at competition in a constructive manner, I would say. Okay, then also we should we should set attainable goals for our children, because we should not put them into too much stress. Okay, you have to do this. So what they want to do, we should encourage them to do that. Okay, and we should be there. We should be there as a support in the challenges they take up, and we should keep on reinforcing that it is okay if you lose. It is okay, perfectly fine. If it is what you're learning from the process, that all matters. And then we should praise our children for the challenges or for the achievements they take. And it is when they learn to appreciate themselves, and then they will be able to take negative peer pressure more positively, and emerge as successful pupils or successful people in life. So I think these are the things which they can handle with regarding peer pressure and competitiveness.
Thank you so much. A very, very insightful answer. And I hope our children, our parents will sure benefit out of this. Well, we are talking about so many things where parents and children both are involved. I'm more concerned about the working parents, I being a working parent, and we all, for that matter, all the teachers here and many parents. So this is a question that was put up through parents, but I personally want to ask a question to Kirti ma'am, that I'm a working mom dealing with issues in present scenario in a way difficult, as I spend most of my time in my workplace and my child is at home. So how to deal with a situation like this?
I think whatever I say will not do justice to the kind of situation that working parents are into, And right now we are in a pandemic, so things are getting worse. But even when we were not in a pandemic, for working parents, dealing with both work and home was always a big task to take care of. However, I'll try to answer this and, maybe share some tips that all our parents can take away from today. I think it's important that when you are at your workplace, try staying in touch with the primary caregiver who is taking care of your child while you are away from it. It could be the maid, it could be the grandmother, whoever you have kept home, to take care of the child. So you can stay in touch with them. That will help you keep in mind the kind of problems that your child is facing. Is the child doing all right or not? You will have a check on that. It's also very important that as working parents, the children kind of become more autonomous. They become more responsible at a very early age. When they see that both their parents are working and they have to look after themselves, you're actually raising very responsible children. So be proud of that. And also talk to your child about the same. Talk to your child about, how their day was. Spend time with them. When you're back home, try connecting with them on how the day went while you were not there. Also, not just ask about them, but share about yourself. Share about how your day was. This will help you stay connected, and this will also foster your well-being and the relationship with the child. It's important that as working parents, you create work-life balance. So while you're at work, try focusing on the work itself, because if your attention is only at home, you're not doing justice to your work also. So try creating a work-life balance there. And I would like to end by saying that as parents, practice self-care. Take out time for yourself. Take out time for things that you enjoy doing, that will help in your well-being, because you are taking up two tasks. You are a parent as well as a working mom, working father. You are a working person also. So try taking out time for yourself also. And I'm sure you'll do good. It is a difficult job, but you are getting there. So yeah.
Thank you, Kirti ma'am. Work-life balance. That's a amazing topic that we can go ahead for the next workshop. Yeah,
definitely.
Very, very important. Giving time to your family, workplace, identifying yourself as if I talk about a woman, as a working woman, identifying yourself in the workplace, and so as a family a person, who have to spend not only time for the children, but for their parents, for their spouses, right? So yes, we have to create that balance so that we are still in a situation of mindfulness. We are still in a situation of taking a control over. So that is very, very important. And so goes for the fathers also. I'm not only talking about mothers. All right, now, Fitna, we come back to you, where I want to say, when my child does not complete his or her homework. Now, this is a very challenging question, because I've been facing the same. Other parents are, yes, everybody. So it says that my child does not complete his or her homework. So it is becoming really tough to make him or her sit to study. What measures to be adopted? And what could be the reasons for this?
Okay. Okay, Rashmi ma'am, I believe we all face this issue at home, where the child shows some sort of unwillingness to sit and study or to, complete the task in hand. So now I understand there are actually two parts of the question. So let me, begin with the reasons firstly. So I feel the reasons could be, maybe a monotonous daily routine where the child is not feeling that excited. I mean, he or she might be feeling a little bit of boredom. I mean, he is getting bored out of the schedule which he is having. Or maybe, lack of much involvement could be one of the reasons. Or if the child is feeling, some sort of competitive pressure, or we can say where there is, constant comparison, maybe with other class children or maybe siblings at home. Or for nowadays, if I have to say, it could also be, some sort of that improper social connect, or, the physical outgoing, which has been very less for the kids. So these could be, some of the reasons, and the measures which we can adopt, to overcome this. I personally feel that, we can have a dynamic timetable at home. I mean, which is, not that stringent or rigid on the child. We can ensure, the child gets small breaks, where he gets enough time to improve the concentration and then get back to the study. Also, I mean, if we can engage our children into some, more colorful, more playful, or more interesting activities, like, if my child is not able to understand any particular chapter, so I try to, build a quiz out of that chapter. I try to completely, transform that chapter into a riddle-based chapter. And also, like, I would suggest that, when the exercises are related to reading and speaking, it is, we always say that, we always tell our child, go and read that chapter. Okay, fine, I'm coming, you read, pages from 80 to 82. I mean, this is what we used to do. But if we make that reading and the speaking time together, where we, sit together and read, where the speaking drill we are having and the child is not alone, and as a parent, we are involved. So, I mean, I feel that would really help. And if we spare, little more time, trust me, Rashmi ma'am, it will work wonders for our little ones. So a little more involvement from our side. So that has to be the key over here.
Thank you so much. I literally agree. And I also want to just add up to this instance when my child was in I think KG or nursery, and she had a dictation and a spelling class, and she was not ready to learn. So I took out my car, I got her in, and I just took her for a drive. And whatever I was noticing, a light, a street light, a tree, I was just asking her to spell it, what she can see. She saw a tree. Yes. So of course, how do we spell a tree? So that was an excitement, and she wanted it to go for longer. And by the time I came back, I realized that she's okay, she's done, she's there, she knows what she can do tomorrow. So that is what Navpreet ma'am is talking to parents. We need to give time to our children. We need to spare that time.
A little more involvement. I mean, just not instructing the child, go and do this, but a little bit of more involvement with the kids' activities.
Of time. Yeah, yes, I will think more investment of time. Correct, so we come to our next question, and the last question, but not the least, and that is to our counselor. And Kirti ma'am, some parents are asking that how to analyze the general overall psychology of a child.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I'm happy that parents want to understand the psychology of the child. Well, you cannot, because psychology is a field in itself, and we have experts, like I have expertise in that field, so you will have to do that. But definitely as a parent, you would want to know your child better, right? So for that, I do have some things that I can share with you. Whenever, even if it's not a child, if it's any random person, if it's your partner, if it's a family member, if it's a friend, how do we get to know them better? We get to know them better by spending time with them, by having conversations with them, by understanding how is it that, what is it that they like, what is it that they don't like, what makes them comfortable, what makes them uncomfortable. The same thing works with our children. If you want to understand their psychology, or if you want to understand them better, try spending more and more time with them, have more conversations with them. This will help you know their strengths, their likings, their thought process, their point of views. Ask them questions. This will help you know in which direction is your child thinking, what is he or she thinking like. Also, it's important that you spend a lot of time, you talk to them, you play with them, you have family time together. This way your child is connecting with you, he or she is forming bonds with you, and this will more likely help the child to open up with you. Something very, very important is that you stay non-judgmental. You are accepting of whatever the child is saying. You are not being very critical, because once we realize that somebody is looking at me from a judgmental lens, somebody is being critical of me, I will step back. I will not feel like sharing. The same thing goes with a very young child. The child wants to be accepted, so provide that non-judgmental space, provide that safe space to the child, and also be good role models. Notice changes that you see in your child And this way you will be able to understand, you will be able to reach a step towards understanding their psychology and, know them better. I hope that answers, ma'am.
That answers a lot, and I hope our parents have got benefited out of it. We wanted to take more such questions for you, but because of we have very limited time to be with you, but we will be very happy to have questions from you. You can post the questions to the teachers, or you can even post it in the group. So now I will like, and thank you so much, Kirti ma'am, Nafreet ma'am, and Nidhi ma'am for joining us for
Pleasure,
today
ma'am.
evening. And I would like to sum up this workshop by a beautiful example, and that is a gardener with different flowers become beautiful when they blossom. Similarly, if parents learn how to be a gardener and are able to recognize their children's personality and nourish it, then their garden will blossom with fragrance. That's what positive parenting is all about. I take this opportunity on behalf of Sherwood Convent School to thank everybody for attending today's workshop and understanding and dealing with my child as parents. Once again, I would like to remind you, dear parents, Sherwood Convent is inviting admissions for nursery program for the new academic session, and we invite your friends, your relatives' queries to take your child's admission further. Once you leave today's workshop, you will receive a feedback form, and we would appreciate if you would complete that and provide it back to us. You can watch the highlights of today's workshop streaming on Sherwood Convent's official YouTube channel and in social media handle in next 24 hours. Till then, stay happy, stay safe, and have a beautiful weekend ahead. Thank you.